Welcome to
No Fucking Filter.
Hello.
We have a couple special guests with us today. You guys are our first couple that we've had on.
So exciting.
Thanks for having us.
They are business partners and partners IRL
In real life.
and
Yeah.
the team behind Studio Giddy Up, Carson and Kit.
Welcome, you guys.
Hello.
We're so happy to have you.
Thank you.
We have a little beverage for you guys if you want to have a little.
Yeah,
Cheers.
my heart's not racing fast enough, so let me just grab
Do this. Are you
this.
gonna reach over me?
A little
Please
black
don't
coffee to
spill it.
calm
Oh, yeah.
you right down.
And on the white chairs. Anyone else?
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers,
look at those
guys.
shakes. This is perfect.
Harvey's here too.
Cheers.
Harvey, hi, buddy. Moral support, emotional support.
Yeah, emotional
Awesome.
support
Hey, buddy.
animal if you need them.
Oh, the mic probably picked up that slur. That was good.
That's good. We love
We love ASMR. Yeah. We want that. Hi, Harvey.
the first thing we want to know is about your name.
Ooh,
love
about
it.
Studio Giddy Up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't say we're from, I always say this. We're from Vancouver. I'm from Vancouver.
I'm from Calgary.
Kit's from Calgary. We met.
OG.
An OG. Yeah.
You're a rare breed.
Yeah.
I know. We met in Vancouver, and then I was freelancing, and it was actually an idea for a name for a studio in the future, but this was like 10 years ago. I was still, I knew I wanted an agency at some point in the future, but I didn't know what. And my biggest thing is like excitement. I'm just a really excited person. I love
I know this about
branding.
you.
I love design. I love humans. I get excited about good ideas. So when we talk even about like our ideal client too, I know I'm jumping ahead on topics here, but
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, where are you going with this?
basically it's about people. So like really good ideas,
Okay.
that's what gets us excited. And my immediate response is like, let's go. But let's go is obviously not a great name. Let's go.
Unless you're 12.
Yeah. Or like
That's a good one.
Say.
Yeah.
sports or something. So Giddy Up came about, and then we actually moved here, started our agency, and we went through a whole naming process trying to find a name, and it was still Giddy Up at the end of the day because it embodied all of what we wanted in our brand, which was just generally excitement for design.
And Calgary.
And Calgary,
Mm-hmm.
I had a moment though where I was like, is this too on the nose now? Like,
If it was yeehaw, then maybe.
yeah, okay. I asked a
love
few
it.
people. Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Awesome. And you can
Yeah.
wear cowboy boots like every business event.
I'm also, so I grew up
true.
in the States, so there's like a part of me that loves a little bit of Western culture.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like, maybe I'll live in Texas. So instead I went to the Canadian Texas and now live in
You're
Calgary.
welcome.
Yeah, thank you. It really
Obviously.
would have never happened if we didn't meet.
Well, I love it, and I think it totally, that name does fit what I know of you guys and your style. Like I was saying, I've been seeing you guys everywhere lately, and I've seen it in a good way. We're not overexposed. But when I see one of your projects come across my feed, I instantly know. I'm like, I know who that is, because you guys are just
Wow.
so different than kind of the traditional like boring branding. Like I feel like you're giving such a fun vibe.
This is the ultimate compliment. I'm
Thank
like,
you.
This is what we're striving for.
I'd love to say that was me, but it's not.
You're my support.
What's
You're my
the-
person saying
Support
Giddy Up
animal.
behind me.
Yeah.
Support animal.
Yeah.
So good.
Is that kind of your guys' dynamic? Like, what is kind of the work dynamic?
I'm gonna let you kick this one off.
Honestly, it's all Carson. She's anything that's like client facing, world facing, and then I kind of fit in wherever I can. So I'm more on like the back end operations kind of stuff.
He's
I
my
do video
silent
work.
warrior in
I
the
do
back.
brand management, but all design is Carson. So anything that you're seeing is her.
Anything you don't see is Kit.
You need the behind the scenes.
You need
need that guy.
I know what they're
Yeah.
up
I
to,
don't
but
have
they
time for
are
that.
key part of it.
The ball rolling.
Absolutely. Big thing is like operations. He built our whole client portal. Like I was like, this is what I want it to look like. Then he spends months building it out, like perfecting it. I'm like, great, thanks. Like, this is perfect. Like,
Amazing.
how
Yeah.
great is that? Handles
Months,
finances.
weeks maybe.
It felt long.
But it's a work in progress.
It's always evolving. Yeah, finance is a big one. That's so helpful. Contracts. He also comes from a Salesforce background, so marketing, like that whole space. Kit is our like also amazing engagement officer. I want to use the word
Oh,
officer.
there it is.
That's it. I like that.
official.
Engagement, yeah.
Like within social media, we do a lot for our brands that we work with, but with social media engagement, I feel like it flies under the radar a lot. People forget that it's a social platform sometimes. And if you're not just talking to other people on the platform, just like in a normal human way, people can sense that. And Kit comes in with these hilarious, witty comments on these other accounts that end up getting like pinned in the comment channel. Like
Amazing.
he's just fire on there. I don't know how he does it.
To have a pinned comment, that's
Oh.
that's
know.
an award in itself.
Day made
We
every
need a
time.
Kit. How do we?
No, you are the kid. You're the one that brings. You're the funny one out of the stool.
You kind of just have to go for it.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah.
That's so hard to do. Like people forget it. Like
There's the dumbest comments that get like 12,000 pins or 12,000 likes and it's pinned and you're like, okay, my turn.
my turn. Let me try this. I think people are still scared though. They're like, is this dumb? Will this make someone angry? Like there's fear behind it, but you're in a perfect place of like wittiness, zero offensiveness,
Yeah.
fun, just like bringing the good parts of Instagram back to Instagram. So
Yeah, that's kind of like, I feel like that's kind of maybe with branding in general. Like people think there's this like formula you need to have, or this, it needs to look like this, or it kind of got so boring. So I love that you guys are like kind of coming in with a breath of fresh air and like doing something different and interesting. And you don't just need like kind of the typical thing that you see everywhere.
I love being weird. And I think like there's
Yeah.
so much noise, and that's exactly it. You need to do something that's, okay, also an overused word, but like authentically yourself.
Yeah.
But it's true.
True.
You end up putting on like
Yeah.
a little bit of a mask. And I think it's a lot of the time for people in our generation, it's a fear mask. You're just like, oh, I don't know what to do. So our goal is to kind of break that down and just have fun with it. Granted, like we don't even do anything on our own social media. It's all through our like clients. And so it's easier said than done before
Yeah.
we sat down.
Yeah, you can
being
make those
joking.
comments from someone else.
It's
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
it
I hide
feels-
behind another brand.
Yeah, hide
and
behind
then I can
another
make
brand.
them.
It's just so much easier though, because you embody that brand, but when it's yourself, you start being like, is this me that's talking, or is it my brand that's talking? And then you start overthinking it and you do nothing. And that's typically like our problem is also our client's problem. So we can solve it on an external side, but for ourselves, we're like, we're going to take one of our team members and get them to handle it in the end.
Yeah.
That's kind of our thought.
And it's kind of scary, like putting yourself out there and doing something different, but
Absolutely.
that's what draws people to
But
you,
it's
I think.
fun.
Yeah.
That's how you stand out. It's,
Yeah.
Let's do weird things.
Well, tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about, you kind of mentioned, but what do you offer? What's your kind of like typical offering?
Yeah. So we're a marketing forward creative agency is how
Nailed
to
it.
describe us. Thank you.
Wow.
One sentence.
I like that.
Let's do it. We started as a creative agency, but it actually came from my freelance days. I learned a lot, and that's where most of my client like mishap stories are from, because I just didn't know any better.
we want to know all the mishaps.
I know. I'm like, it's all from my freelance days. So much learning, so much youth. But yeah, basically what happened is so many of our brands came to us, and I guess this is me beforehand, came to me and were like, great, I want a brand, I want a website. And then they would be like, okay, now I'm going to launch it myself. And I would just watch it fizzle, or just not execute in the way that we talked about, or that they could manage ultimately, right? Like, it takes resources, it takes time, it takes strategy, it takes multiple platforms. So what we do like to say too is that like brands and branding isn't linear anymore. So everyone's like, you build a brand, you build a website, you put it on social media, but it's actually more like, okay, you're starting in the center and then there's hubs and spokes going off of each one. So it's like, okay, social media is its own hub, your website is its own hub. What's your like networking plan? What's your in-person, like what are you doing? What podcast are you on next? Like how can you connect?
Hashtag podcast.
Hashtag quick drop. And yeah, it's just more holistic. So we realized that all these brands, and we love working with creative entrepreneurs. We were like, okay, so you need more, and we can do all of these things. And then once Kit came in, it was like perfect, because I was watching that struggle happening where I was doing the branding and the website design. I slowly was starting to build like a contractor-based team. And then I'm like, oh, we need the marketing side. And I'm like, hey.
So it worked out nicely, just kind of backtracking. I was working at
for it.
a Salesforce marketing agency in Vancouver, and I got burnt out. So August 2021, I quit, and I was just kind of hanging out, taking naps. For
The dream.
The dream, yeah.
It's true. Uncontrollable naps. He would just fall asleep.
Yeah, it was the best. For probably 6 or 7 months before Giddy Up, it was just like, oh, I'm doing this. Would you want to come on board and see what you can do and help out? And then it wasn't until June of the following year where we just kind of said, let's go for it. And then we came together and kind of became that, what'd you say, marketing forward?
Marketing forward, creative agency.
Yeah. So we, instead of just having like, yeah, we can make you a pretty brand, we can also do the extension of like digital advertising marketing as well with strategy.
That's another pillar, guys. Digital ads, pay for them. I'm sorry, but Meta's a beast. It wants your money.
Yeah.
And it like makes me sad that that's the only way to actually gain traction on the platform. But even throwing it like $100 for a boosted post, it's going to be really happy.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
$100 just boost a post.
feed the beast.
Feed the beast.
Just a little bit every month.
Yeah,
It doesn't need much.
I haven't done that, but
And a boosted post is the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to build an ad campaign. You just press that boost button that they're putting right there because they're hungry. So do it.
and that works.
That works.
Okay.
That helps.
Hot
Gets
tips?
traction. There you go.
So you're really like a one-stop shop almost, right?
We are, yeah. We have some really fantastic partners too. A big part of why we love Calgary is like the entrepreneurs here are amazing. Like we
Yeah.
love all of you guys. We're just like, this community has been unbelievably supportive since we've been here. I guess we've only been here for 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's amazing
Yeah.
what you guys kind of how far your reach has gotten already, even in that short amount of time.
I have to give credit to Kit for already living here beforehand, which helped. So we had like all of his friends. And then I connected with one of our strategy partners, Tanya at Mara Studio, and she just like brought us in. We were like, she's here are all our friends. I was like, great.
Well, you two had the
everyone's so
relationship
cool.
while we were living in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And Tanya would always hint, move to Calgary, and Carson and I will work together and do big things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
So-
you're doing it.
Yeah, now
Now
we
we're
work
doing
really
it.
closely with her, so she's been great.
Yeah. Really
So
awesome.
in terms of like a
Key
one-stop
partnerships.
shop, we could, but we definitely kick all of our strategy to Meryl because she does such a good job with it that it just makes sense to start there.
We just have those partners in the right spots, right? So if we know that there's like something we can't handle that we can bring to our client, we're not precious about the work, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. And I think that's a beautiful thing about Calgary too, is everyone's like, oh, do you want to work on it? You want to work on it? Not to be mean to Vancouver.
No, that's
'Cause I love
Vancouver's
it.
very.
I said the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, they're like, it's my work. And I'm
Clicky.
like, well, it's probably because it's so expensive to live there that they're like, I need all of this to pay
Yeah.
for everything.
Yeah.
Really beautiful city on the outside. And I love all my family
Looks
and friends
good.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Looks great. But here I feel like the people just get it. And it's about collaboration and like supporting and uplifting others for that growth. And it's, like, I'm not going back.
You can't afford to. This
We can't. We actually can't afford
It's too late
to.
now. Our rent is too amazing here.
We'll figure out how to pay ourselves one day.
Yeah. We were laughing. My good girlfriend, one of the houses went up for sale next to her for 1.6 or 1.4. Next
Well,
to
now we're
it.
sounding like
Yeah.
bougie here.
Well, no, I mean,
What are you doing?
so I'm just, it's next to them anyways. It's just housing prices in Vancouver. Like,
Yeah.
they're obscene, right?
Yeah.
And this house was literally like a tear down. It doesn't,
Someone's garden
it's a
shed.
tiny lot. Yeah. I joked to our friends, I was like, you should buy it so you can build a garage. And it's like, it's that small. And the listing literally only had like images of Main Street on it. But we're like, cool, pay 1.4 for
assume
this
you're
tear
gonna
down.
tear it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just it.
Yeah,
So,
that's all it is.
Yeah.
and granted, there are homes that are like that here now too. It's
Yeah.
catching up. Was that our fault? I don't know.
You started it. Now
Probably.
everyone's
We thought we were so smart moving here in 2021, and then 48,998 other people moved. So we really didn't time that very well.
Alberta was doing those ads to like move to Alberta,
Yeah.
and so our friends all joked that that's what got us out here. They're like, "Did they work on you
now
guys?"
they're like, please stop
No.
moving here.
"Yeah, like,
Yeah,
we don't have any more room.
the oil is dry. Please leave.
The oil is dry."
I came in 2017 from Vancouver. Actually,
Right.
Carson and I kind of knew of each other in Vancouver, but
Yeah.
I felt the same way. It was like everyone welcomed me with open arms, and I didn't ever really feel that community
Yeah.
in Vancouver. Like there were definitely a few kind of like work friends that I had, but honestly, everyone here is so welcoming and happy to pass on work that doesn't maybe vibe with them, or if they're booked, we're all like giving each other work and collaborating, and it's so awesome.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you feel that way too. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, am I being mean to like my home I don't know.
What
no.
don't
No.
people call it No Fun Vancouver?
Yeah, probably.
I heard that.
know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
That sounds
They're
about right.
like, you can drink in parks here. And
Oh, yeah. That was a big
attending
one.
That was a
festival,
big
you
one.
can get booze at 7 in the morning.
welcome. There's no spring, but it's fine.
It's like the trade-off. They're like, if we're gonna put all these people through months of cold, hard winter, we have to really go big.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're like, how do we do this?
You can drink in 3 parks now.
Oh.
Yeah.
We really went on a tangent there, team.
The Ocean and Mountain
Yeah.
Tax. Oh yeah, we can like whatever you want to
I
say.
don't remember what you asked us.
To bring it back,
Reeling it in.
Need that.
you kind of already mentioned this.
Yeah.
You love working with entrepreneurs and everything, but like, who do you love working with? What are the type of brands and things that you work with?
I'm going to go. Are you going to go? I'm going.
I feel like you just go with everything. So go.
I have to control myself from talking. I think it is that it's definitely innovative entrepreneurs. So if you come to us with a really unique idea and you're open to that unique marketing and brand perspective, then we're 100% game. That's really, it's kind of a personality more than anything.
Yeah.
I do love a good product company. I do have to say, my background has some packaging in it. So making a sleek box brings me a lot of joy. And so like digital space, we've got a number of service-based industries and then or service-based brands, as well as e-commerce brands that we work with. But it's just the people that are like, go for it. And we're like, okay, we obviously do all our check boxes and get things confirmed before we just throw it out there. But it's that. And then also it's brands that want to really kind of do a rebuild. So either they're coming to us at like year 5 for a refresh. Refresh is also a triggering word. We'll get to that one later. When we talk about, I just need a logo refresh. We're like, It's not.
It's like
Is that all?
It's like when people are like, I just need like 2 headshots for my website. And we're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, just
Right,
2 quick ones. You can do
But
that.
it's the same amount of time to get set up and to edit to get those 2 headshots. Yeah. There's no such thing as a brand refresh is basically the thing. But it's more of a rebrand at year 5.
Yeah.
So aligning with, they've learned so much in the industry, which we love. And then we're able to take all that knowledge and put it into a brand that better represents them. So it's usually the full thing. Like we love doing the full branding, the website, and then social media and all those additional assets that go with it, print assets and things like that. So that's our dream client for sure.
That's awesome.
We need to hire them to make merch.
I know. Yes.
Love
Someday.
merch. Love merch.
Yes.
Yeah, this will be a good little little hint.
Yeah.
So
anyone thinks we should.
we might do merch in the future
This is
because
quite
Like
the
you
setup,
immediately need
though.
sweatsuits.
I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah, I just immediately went to sweatsuits.
Yeah.
I feel like we could upgrade from our matching Kirkland set.
Yeah, if you guys are just listening, Carson and Kit are in matching Kirkland sweatshirts, which are amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out
the
Costco.
vibe.
Shout out to Costco. We are not sponsored, but we would love to be.
Yeah, Costco, slide into our DMs.
Please.
Do you need a rebrand?
It's also, yeah.
I think it's about
don't
time. I think
touch
they're
it.
Yeah, it's about time.
Guys, it's too iconic. Like,
It
I don't
is too
think I could
iconic.
touch Costco.
No.
It's from a branding
Costco's
perspective.
untouchable.
It is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Mecca. It's also like so fitting of what our desk space looks like in our studio, where Kit's desk setup is all black and mine is like the all white Mac version.
Amazing.
So funny. It's like,
Yeah.
which one's which? We're like, oh, you know. You immediately know.
And you guys are getting married?
are.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Yeah, we did it.
So freaking beautiful.
Lint in it. Let's pull that
I
out.
want to see. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous.
Thank you.
Very unique. I love that.
Thank you.
So we want to know everything. Tell us some, like, when are you getting married? Where? Any plans that you've done so far?
Yes.
Go for it.
We're going to talk at some point. Yes, we are getting married June 29th, the long weekend. Soon. Really
Soon.
exciting. We had an initial idea to get married on New Year's because I liked the numbers. It was 12, 31, 23. So it was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Most of our, like, my side of the family and friends are coming from either Vancouver or California. So I wasn't going to do that to them because the year before was like -40 and nobody could get here and the Vancouver airport shut down because they got 5 centimeters of snow. So it happens.
Also, like flight
No fun-
prices
no fun
during the
Vancouver.
holidays. Yeah.
Yeah, places are like everything's jacked up,
Yeah, yeah.
and then New Year's had a cost on it too. So finding actual like caterers and everything like that, I'm like, there's already a bridal/wedding fee on everything, and then I we were adding a New Year's fee. So not the best idea, but all good. We are getting married at the Princeton, which is the event space on 12th and
I didn't know
1st.
this.
It's
I know this?
new.
How do we not know this?
Oh, the hot goss. Here we go.
True to our hipster form and our Vancouver roots, we love to be the first to things. So, no.
We didn't find it on our
we
own.
can't take
we
credit
can't take
at
any
all,
credit
guys.
for any of the planning that we're doing. It's
You want to name drop at the same time? Danny
Danny.
Anderson.
We love Danny.
Danny Lovebirds. She is our event planner, and I have slept so well because of her.
Yeah.
Like, we just don't do anything.
Yeah.
She
You
just
don't
shows
need
up
to.
with like, I was like, hey, this is who I am. And she already got that as an essence. And then was like, perfect, I'm doing this. And we're like, oh, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
She'll be like,
We know it will be epic if she's involved.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
she's so cool.
yeah, she's great.
I keep being like, just hang out with us after. And she's like, that's not how it works. I was like, fine. I was like, fine. She's like, we need a glass of wine at the end of the night, but I also have to tear down your wedding. I was like,
Yeah.
right, okay. I might be at a
Sure.
different,
Job doesn't end till way after.
till
you
like
guys are-
1:32.
yeah, it's like closing a bar down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been phenomenal.
She's done everything.
She's done everything.
Our first venue fell through,
Yeah.
which was unfortunate, but we're in a better venue now because of her. So
Everything happens for a reason. That's
just
Totally.
What was your first venue, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it was actually a potential client that were looking at getting an event space, and then they got a really great offer to basically with the Stampede.
the announcement of the event center.
Yeah, they were basically offered like triple their money essentially for the space that they already bought. So they made the
Amazing.
right business move. I was just sad because it was going to be a really cool, like kind of industrial looking space.
Oh.
That being said, I don't know if it's going to pop up somewhere else in the future. They're still figuring it out. So really cool. So we'll see. TBD on that one.
I want to know everything about this new venue.
So, okay, what was the store that was there before? So it's 12th and
I think
1st.
it's a Foreman's men's store.
Yeah.
Oh, is it right
think.
by First Street Market?
It's right on the
across
corner of
Yeah,
First and
yeah.
12th.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
so
Really
someone
cool.
bought it like a year ago, and they've renovated it. And
Wow.
Here
they didn't do like a total gut, but it was like the first floor renovated. There's no elevator, so there's stairs going into the second floor,
That's the thing.
which is office space, I think now.
Yep.
Yeah. Third floor was Brett Wilson's like penthouse, downtown condo, flat, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, wait, who's Brett Wilson?
No,
See,
like
I'm not a
need to know
Calgary
this.
person,
Oh, I
so
thought
I
this
don't
would have
know
been
this
like a
either.
Calgary thing.
I don't know who
He's just like a Calgary entrepreneur. He used to throw like a garden party every year.
Okay.
I think he kind of shot himself in the foot on Twitter with some political rants. So
So he's canceled.
he's canceled. I think he's
had to sell that
canceled.
penthouse.
Yeah. So he's out of that. But it looks. We walked through it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then they've got a rooftop. So we've
so
got
nice.
we've got
Cool.
3 floors to the venue.
Wow.
It's nice.
It's gonna
It's
be
great.
so cool.
It's really beautiful.
We're running into
like
capacity
heritage
issues.
vibes. Yeah, we're panicking because our first place didn't have a capacity. Like the capacity was like 400 seated or something, and this place is 120, and we invited 144 people, and so far everybody has said they're coming, and I'm like, great.
Wow.
So if you're listening,
We need your waiver.
yeah, we have your waiver. You can stay home.
Yeah.
But it's also so hard
Don't
because
be
like
scared.
Yeah.
there's so many people we wanted to invite, and like you just it gets more and more expensive the more people you invite, and then also space now. So,
You would think with like 3 floors, it would be more capacity, but I guess I'm not.
but we want
put a
to
couple
eat all
on
on
the
the
roof.
one floor.
Right.
So because we
Is that
all
why?
yeah.
Oh,
So because
yeah, I
dinner
thought so too. I
service
was
is
like, it's 3
happening.
floors. It's big.
Dinner service is happening on the main floor. That has a fire code number to it. And like the rooftop can only fit 100. That's their
Right.
fire code. So we're doing cocktail hour on the 3rd and rooftop, which is like the 4th.
And people can just like,
And they'll just
mingle
go
out,
back and forth. So we'll have food because we're going to do a raw bar. So we're going to have food. I know. Again, all Danny is just like, so we're going to do oysters. We'll have a shrimp tower. We'll have tuna ceviche. We'll have all this. I was like,
Do
okay.
you want to make your guest list 150?
It's like
I would like
people don't come. We're maybe available.
build an extension off of the building. It's fine.
outside.
Yeah, we'll just sneak people in.
Sneak
Come
them
to the
in.
back. No one will know.
awesome.
The old people will leave early.
No, I'm super excited. I
It'll be
think
good.
Danny, yeah,
But
obviously.
it's been all Danny. We haven't done anything. It's just like, when do you need my credit card?
Right.
And then that's
We
it.
just told her we didn't want it to be like a classic wedding. That was our biggest thing. I was like, I don't like, we're not.
You've been to those.
Yeah, we were like, we've done that. I'm like, we're creative, so we want it to be funky and weird. We want it to be a place for Danny to express herself. And then also I'm like, we've been together for 5 years, guys. Like, come on, like it's not, this is more of a party that has like funky flair to it.
Yeah,
what we're
totally.
hoping for.
And when you have those vendors you can trust, like Danny, you can kind of just, because you know they're going to do something awesome.
Do whatever we want.
Yeah, totally.
There's a stage that we're getting married on.
Whoa.
A stage.
I would classify it as a riser.
It's a riser, but it's like
It's not like a.
Carson stage.
it's my stage.
Yeah.
Somebody else is on it. It's
Yeah.
just, it is more of a riser. I think it's
that's
like 6 or
amazing.
8 inches off the ground, but it's just it can fit us and then our person who would be marrying us, who we haven't asked that person yet. So
You should ask him right now and then make him listen to the podcast.
do we actually?
Yeah, do it.
You should do it.
You do it.
Why? I want you to do it now. Go.
Jordan, would you like to marry us?
Jordan Sanders, will you be our officiant?
I guess I should have said his last name.
Thanks for listening to the last 15 minutes or so to get to this part.
So good. But yeah, no, it's been awesome. A lot of really cool ideas. I wanted weird florals. At one point, Danny was like, so I'm going for grandma, alien, and unhinged. And I was like, I've never loved 3 words together more. Thank you.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I was like weird grandma florals, like a little bit like
I'm here
messy,
for it.
imperfect. Yeah, so that's our
Well,
wedding.
we can't wait to see what you guys do.
Thanks.
Actually, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just so excited. I love to follow along after and like look at all the pictures. And if you are you guys doing a video at all? Or are you?
We don't have a videographer.
Don't. No.
But I kind of want one. I'm just like more of a cost thing than anything.
I think it's that at this point.
But it was, I'm going to tell like a really sad story, but my girlfriend lost her dad when she was 5. And she watched her parents' wedding videos when she was young as a way to remember her dad. And like when she told me that, I was like, I need a videographer. And that was why it was like a non-negotiable at her wedding. Because she's like, I absolutely want one. I want to remember these things. So I think the benefit for me would be like remembering people in our lives that might not be with us in the future, you know, great aunts and uncles and things like that. So that's why I would want it more than
we're also
anything.
getting married at 38 and 35, so
Yeah.
our
I'm
parents
still
getting up there too
34
and everything,
actually.
So yeah, it'd be nice.
One more month?
No, you'll be 35 when we get married.
No
Okay.
ages on
Okay.
this podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
We talk about that a lot with photos too, is like how often we take like the last really good picture of people. Because people come to us when their grandparents pass away and want that photo from the wedding and stuff. So yeah, it's crazy how it's not just photos or not just a video, you know, there's more to it, but
That's fair. Yeah.
anyways,
Wow.
why do we always circle back?
Becky's our photographer,
Yeah, Rebecca Frank's
which is
our
cool.
photographer.
So she was our first.
It's gonna be the best.
I'm so excited.
dying already.
And like
wait to see the
her and
photos.
Danny are friends, so they just keep like scheming things on the side and then coming with us with ideas. So,
Guys,
like
this is gonna be
awesome.
epic. Okay, I want to know how it is. I mean, I'm sure there are challenges already with working together, but working together while wedding. So Sophia's getting married at the beginning of June, and I was kind of telling her your guys' backstory, and I said, imagine you had to wedding plan with Luke and then go to work with him. She was like, no.
No.
How's that?
It's honestly been good.
Yeah. Danny
She's looking at
saved
me.
your relationship, right?
Yeah.
Danny did save our
Honestly,
our
without Danny,
relationship.
we'd be in a different place.
Yeah, 100%. I think what helped us, and we were actually talking about this before, sorry, slight prep we had to do just to get on the same page, is basically like COVID was our biggest trial run of working together. And we were in a 700 square foot, 1-bedroom condo in Vancouver. We were working back to back with each other.
Tell her the computer setup.
We need to know. This
Tell
is
them the computer.
So I'm. Do you want to?
No, you do
I
it.
want to. I want to say this. So we've got just like a 4x6 table, 5x6,
4x6, it's quite
4 by
small.
6.
Maybe 5.5.
and I've got a 13-inch MacBook Pro that I'm using, and she's got a 15-inch MacBook Pro and a 27-inch iMac that she needs on the table at all times.
I need these things.
So Yeah, we worked under pretty harsh conditions for a year.
Yeah, back to back. And then Kit was on calls all the time.
Yeah.
So that was your annoying thing. Mine was my space taking up. Like, you're doing design. I can't work off of a tiny laptop, but even though my laptop's a 15-inch one, that's still too small. Constantly working off of two screens because you'll have like the reference file on one and then the design on the other. I'm like, I just couldn't go to working on one. It's not.
Yeah, and your iMac was used as a monitor. It wasn't
I had
even
a
used as a
sweet
computer.
setup.
Yeah.
So I used to work at Herschel. That was my like corporate past life. Absolutely loved them. And when during COVID I got let go, honestly, it was like February 2020. I was like, I think I've been here long enough. Like, it's been 5 years. I'm ready to go. Global pandemic hits. I'm like, I'm going to stay. I just feel like I don't need to leave right now.
Yeah, we got different plans for you.
I only like slightly talked about this with my manager / friend. She, at this point, like lines were very blurred. And I was like, I don't know. I might look for something else. She's like, well, whatever you want to do. And then that happened. And I was like, no. So I got laid off, which was great that I held out because I was able to get a really generous severance from the company. They were amazing. They even gifted me the whole setup. So they gifted me the iMac.
Shout out Herschel.
Shout out to Herschel. They were honestly like, they're so great. And also I feel so badly every time because they had to like do the call to let people go. And you could just see it like ripping their souls out because they're all about like culture and like our people and supporting them. And then they had to do that. I was apologizing in the meeting. I was like, it's okay. No, I'm sorry. Like, it's all right. Like, this is a great deal. And like freelance was already picking up anyways, but tangent, reel it in, Carson. So MacBook, yeah, it was really generous, but we had that set up. And then I feel like that pushed us through then.
Okay, you're getting there. I'm like, where are you going now?
But no, so my thing was basically we then started working separately when we moved to Calgary. We had, we were in a really nice.
I ventured into crypto.
Yeah.
If anyone
like
wants to get into that.
Mid-30 man, like millennial man does. Yeah. Started mining crypto. He did that for a little bit before I pulled him in for Giddy Up.
I was like hell-bent on just being fully passive income somehow. And this was not.
This was post-nap Kit, like
post-nap Kit wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah, finding his next thing, and then was also doing marketing on the side for a few of his friends' companies, and that's where I was like, okay, like this is silly. Like I have work for you, so if we could just do this. So I kind of dabbled with like bringing him in. I was like, is this okay? Like, I'm really particular in life. Wait till you see me in design. Like, it's a lot worse.
He's like, I know.
I live with you. I know you're insane about the kitchen sponge. Like, yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah. She's insane with a kitchen sponge. Like, insane.
I can't.
She like looks. She's like, did you wring that out 6 times?
I was raised by my mother.
6 times.
I have high standards.
Like, it's a sponge. It's a dollar. We'll throw it out after a week.
That's it. It grosses me out. I don't want to grab a sponge that has coffee grinds all over it. Anyways, that's
are you guys able to separate the sponge talk like to the kitchen, or does that ever overflow into the
sponge
office?
talk goes everywhere.
Sponge talk is an immediate blackout rage, and I storm into the studio. No, it's good. We were able to separate it. We figured out a really good groove. I think at the beginning, my only thing was we had spent almost 2 years working, and we started working together, but in separate offices, and we would slack each other from like I was in the second bedroom on the top floor, he's in the basement. So we had a sick setup that way, and then we moved into our new place, started sharing an office space, and I was like, wow, you drink coffee loudly. Like I have never heard louder sips in my life.
So rude.
It's just because I was so
every
used to silence,
relate.
Right? And then it took.
Do you want me to show you how quiet I am when I drink coffee?
Let's give it a little.
Okay.
So what you need to do is you need to put
I'm an angel.
You need to put on your noise canceling headphones when you can't actually hear yourself.
Give it to us.
That was nothing.
So he's so silent.
Did you hear that?
I heard it. When he has his noise canceling headphones on, he just does like an extra exhale after that he can't hear.
I'm just enjoying it.
I know. I can't shame him. These are my own issues, guys. This is not kids' problem.
We all have them. Every single one.
I hate the sound of people eating, and it just drives me crazy. Yes, it's actually.
I have it too.
I have like really badly that I have to like leave
blind
the room.
rage.
Yeah, blind rage.
I think it was like a very large contributing factor to my divorce. To be honest,
I don't doubt that
if you can eat an
all.
apple beside the person that you're married to, like you probably should not be married.
That's fair.
I I don't know how you're putting up with me because of my jaw clicking. And
Does your jaw click?
We have to eat really far apart.
I need you to be in the other room.
It's a medical condition.
I didn't even notice my jaw was clicking. I was in the car once having a bite with someone, and they're like, "What is that sound?" And I was like, "What sound?"
Was it Luke?
He comments on a lot of other sounds, but no. Like, I was breathing really heavily watching a show once, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I didn't even notice. I was like falling asleep watching the show." Sitting up, just like
Yeah, I think food sounds
It's
is
the devil
biggest
you know. Imagine you had to sit beside like some stranger at work that drank their coffee loud.
Well,
That would
that's
probably
it.
be
Oh,
worse.
I used to
So
work
it
next to a guy who
definitely would
clipped
be
his
worse.
toenails.
Stop
Yeah.
it. That's from like an episode of
In my like first
Office?
corporate job, this dude would like whip
What?
out nail clippers once
He
a
would
week.
like take his sock off.
so.
Yeah, at his desk, like 8:30 in the morning, you'd hear like clipping sounds, and you'd look over and it's him, and he's got his garbage can on the desk.
Disturbed.
That's
It was
messed
messed up,
guys.
Yeah.
I'm unwell.
I am unwell.
He couldn't clip them at home though, guys, because he left them at
It was
work.
disgusting.
Did he have a partner that hated him clipping his toenails, so then
Maybe.
he had to do it at work,
Maybe.
and he was in physical pain?
No,
because
he's
his
probably like, I'm gonna get
toenails
paid for this.
It's probably that.
Why not?
So it, for sure.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I'm really glad you don't work there anymore.
Yeah.
We've been watching a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine recently.
Since we're throwing each other under the bus,
Yeah. Okay, yeah, keep
No,
going.
I'm
I
just
won't do
kidding.
my reference.
so when we film client interviews and stuff
Yeah.
like that, Carson usually leads them, but I sound edit as well, video edit, and do all that all that. I have to make sure that she stops smiling because her gums make noise when she smiles.
Okay, I will. Everybody, quiet. I'll do it. I hate you.
Oh, there it is. There it is, folks. So it's
don't
like,
know, it's just
we got this really, really great sound bit, and I can't wait to use it. And then it's like bookended with that.
I'm smiling and laughing and like communicating with the client and like trying to make them comfortable, and I'm just like. And I'm like, I don't know why my gums
What's
do
worse? Vote.
that. Vote. Put it to a poll.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's
We'll
definitely
put
my mouth.
a poll on our Instagram.
Don't put that sound anywhere.
We'll get 0 clients.
But all like the idiot. Other than that, like yes, we're together 24/7, but we have a really good
Yeah,
relationship
and-
in and out of it. The one struggle we have is when to turn off work and become like partners.
Yeah.
That's a big
And
one.
actually, we went for coffee with Mike and Mitzi from Arcade, and they do theirs with like a tequila cheers, and it's like such a good idea. So we're trying to implement that in our lives. We
Like
don't
daily?
drink all the
also
time.
don't
End of every
drink that
workday?
much.
No,
So it's their like date
It's
nights.
date nights and stuff like that.
That
So
makes
it's like
sense.
no
It's
no
like
work
kicking it
talk.
off.
Oh, I like
It's their way to start it. Really cute. Yeah, they're the best.
Really good idea.
Depends how many dates you're going on. When are they like on a Tuesday?
I don't know when they do them, but I feel like even that, like Kit and I we did like sober jam. We're just not big drinkers. Like we just don't drink a lot. If it is anything, it's going to be tequila. But I'm like, do I want to start with a shot? Like it's got to be a weekend
Setting
for
the
sure. Yeah. That's funny though. I don't think I could work alone now though.
Being so quiet drinking my coffee.
just trying, just to not breathe.
Hyper
Yeah.
listening right now.
Everyone's being
Like
so
the worst
quiet.
kind of ASMR.
I keep trying to move my mic away at like strategic points. Don't make the mouth noise.
We can just go on tangents. I love this. This is okay. Another question for you guys: ins and outs.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to hear these.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too. Like any pet peeves when you see it too. Like anything like. Good. Just get
Should we start with ins? Should we start with
Like
the
ins and
positive?
outs of branding, design,
Yes.
everything. I need a category,
Yes.
ladies.
Yes.
I need a category.
Branding,
Okay.
design, anything like ins for 2024. Like what
Okay.
is cool? What's coming?
Yeah, this is a fun one. Okay, no, I have to start with outs because they're stronger feelings.
Okay, we like that. We like that. Get the X out of the way.
Arches. Please stop using arches, everybody. Outs are arches. Sorry.
What do you mean arches?
Do you have an arch? Where's your arch?
We were just talking about this the other day. No.
Do you mean like physical arches or like
Not
arch?
anymore.
People will do arches as like clipping masks
Oh, yeah.
for imagery. They'll do an arch behind an image. It's been used as just style. I think something I want to also preface this with is I'm so in it that I've been seeing these since before they started hitting the market.
Right.
I'm like super trend forward, guys. So
And you're like hyper aware of them because you look at this all day.
Totally.
all day.
And I feel like it's hard because for me planning a wedding, it was like I liked so many certain things that I had seen, but then like by the time I actually get married, it's like that's so over,
That's
right?
it.
But like I really liked certain things, and then like Lisa knows,
Like arches.
I've been
Cancel the arch order.
yeah, literally hasn't been put in yet, so
What
like
about
we're
bows?
canceling that.
do you have a bunch of bows with ribbons?
No, no.
Okay.
Like, we're on the list.
What does your cake look like?
I'm literally like I'm having question and answer fatigue really bad lately, and like just because as it approaches, it's like now I'm second guessing everything I like because we see so much going to weddings all the time. We're in like all we think about is weddings, and now I'm planning a wedding, and it's just anyway. I was
that would
thinking
be
about
a
the
lot.
arch scenario.
She's triggered.
We're figuring out our menus, and I'm like, oh, you know, it'd be cute, an arch. But now, no arch.
You know what you should do is like an organic shape. So the N is more of like an organic die cut
I like
shape.
it. Thank
So
you. Our wedding planner's gonna
Yeah.
me. Like,
She already does.
she's no, she doesn't.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
that would be fun though. Like more, there was one invite that I saw that was like I want to say like a tube, like a ribbon that kind of like wrapped around, and the way it bunched held it together, but it's just a flat piece of
Ooh,
paper.
okay.
But then you followed the curves of the information on it.
wow.
Organic shapes, I think, are
Yeah.
just so unique at this
Okay.
moment. So that's an
Arches out, organic
out.
shapes in.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
happy we didn't put in that.
Thank God.
From a website perspective, I love to say breaking the grid is in. So, and this is like, this one hurts a little bit from your design, like education base. Everything's based off of a grid. There's the Fibonacci sequence, the rules of threes, like that's how design is all. We're trained to see beauty through the Fibonacci sequence, which is essentially the rule of threes. So you're seeing, it's mimicking shapes in nature. Fun stuff, guys. So all of what we do is just like a psychological game on people of why design is beautiful. So I say breaking the grid, but you're breaking the grid. There's air quotes being put up right now. Because still follow it, but play with, again, the organic shape. So if you're doing clipping masks, like kind of that collage style, we just did a really beautiful, for Lovebirds, we did a collage style website for them, and like having it be less blocky when you're scrolling through a website, that's really beautiful. Spacing it out a little bit more. Also a big thing, and this is less of like a trend, but like please plan for mobile. Please plan. Like, don't build your website on desktop first.
Yeah.
Build it on mobile first, because you can come up with so many cool ideas on desktop that you can't implement on mobile. And you're like,
That's such
this
a-
is now boring without that. So
Yeah.
you really need to think about how to make it interesting on a small screen with small real estate with limited animations.
Such a good tip.
I think about that a lot. I mean, we're on our computers all day, as I'm sure you guys are, but a lot of people aren't. So I really try to think about that. And like when people are getting that response to their inquiry with all the info, like they're likely not looking at this.
No, they're going
No,
from your
yeah.
Instagram right to your
so
website
different.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. And I feel like in that space too, there's just so many different opportunities through that. We are on our computers all the time, but it's 70% that people are entering through their phone. So going to your website, 70% is the average for most websites.
Crazy.
So that's a big one. There you go, team. What else is in and out, Kit? Do you have any trends that you want to talk about?
I can't think of any.
Talk to me about your spreadsheets.
Wow.
I think of like a big one. I'm like, don't be afraid of color. I think that's a great one. A lot of people are so fearful of it, right? Like that neutral aesthetic is definitely leaving. There's a space for neutral, but complement it with some pops, guys, right?
We love color. Like
Yes.
shooting it from like a photographer's point of view too. We love something unique and interesting, and it's
Yeah, how does that translate to the wedding industry too? Like, or like colors would
Color's
be
coming back.
Yeah. I feel like it
We
is.
publicly declared our own ins and outs at the beginning of the year. And we
Oh.
said blush is out, and it caused
Oh.
Brides did not like that comment.
I would like to agree with you. Granted, we have like a very close blush tone in our color palette. Only
Yeah, we
because
do. I'm also colorblind, so I'm not really
Wow.
partially.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
that's
wild.
another good in. Web accessibility,
Yeah,
guys.
people
Yeah.
think about us.
Think about us. Kit is actually my at-home tester. We had one client that was all really beautiful, like neutral green tones, like similar to the color you're wearing right now, Lisa. But I feel like Kit would think that they were all browns because of that tone.
So you see green as brown. I guess you don't.
He claims that he sees it as green.
Okay.
It's really hit and miss. But I didn't learn that until I was a soccer player growing up, and they'd always go red versus green panties, and I never knew who was on each team.
Way.
Isn't that sad, guys?
Yeah.
Have you ever tried on those glasses that they've made?
Not like the really good ones that you're talking about.
Yeah,
but
I cheaped out on a
Carson
gift.
got me some sunglasses that have like the same effect, like some Amazon ones. And we went for a drive, and she's just like staring at me, like waiting for me to burst into tears because I saw color for the first time.
And he didn't. It's very
But
upsetting.
I can see colors. There's certain shades that throw me off.
It's just
And
red green that you can't
She's
get.
like, "What's that? What color's that sign? What color's that sign?" She's like, "Why aren't you crying?" But it was
Open your eyes
cool.
to the truth.
It was cool. It was like, oh, like stop signs are that red, or like a
okay.
yield sign looks like that, or even the green signs for, what are they? Overpasses?
There's just like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, they're that green. They just kind of
Crazy.
look black,
They're more neutral to him.
more
Yeah.
neutral.
Yeah, which explains
Interesting.
why
Yeah.
he's okay with my wardrobe most of the time. I know I'm
Yeah.
in neutrals right now, but I have
And your old house.
bright red pants. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But he thought,
Carson
okay.
had a different color on like most walls.
I had a fuchsia like built-in nook, and when I showed the swatch to Kit, he thought it was gray, and it was like vibrant fuchsia.
I was also day 5 into COVID, so
yeah, he was also a little
unfair.
delusional.
It was a really good time to ask him.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go paint our wall. Is that okay? I was like, yes.
I'm so bored. I have to stay in here because I've been exposed to you, so I have to make sure that I'm not sick. So then I was like, I'm gonna paint this wall finally that I've been like meaning to paint for years.
In a rental, and guess who had to paint it back with 4
Wasn't me. I can tell you
coats
that.
to get it back.
We did remove the IKEA shelves and bought new ones.
That's amazing.
Anyways, but yeah, so trend-wise, getting back to it.
Colors.
Team. Love our tangents.
Love color.
Yeah.
Love color. Colors coming in.
I don't think I really have any, to be honest.
No.
None that kind of. I don't know.
I'm going to toot a photographer's horns here. Please get branded imagery. I've seen like we're running out of stock photo options.
Yeah.
Like real fast. So investing in proper brand imagery.
Yeah.
So important.
Let's
Not
talk
just
about
of
that a little
yourself.
bit. Like, what do you love to see from photographers when it comes to branding? Like, what are your...
Yes. So obviously there's a clean headshot. Everybody needs that, but it's more like candid moments. And then I think of like faux stock photography moments. So thinking of like the intrinsic ones that we did together, getting the shots of like 2 people from above and there's no faces in them, making sure to change outfits as much as possible so that we can use the photos more and more in different spaces. It's more like a longevity kind of thing. As many outfit changes is like always recommended, which means you need more time, guys. Okay. So plan a day, do it, get it done with. The investment is worth it. It makes everyone's life easier. And like content is king too, right? We all know this.
Yes.
We need content, even getting like behind the scenes shots of the photo shoot while it's happening is also really important. So having that duality, like the hit of both, 100%. Yeah, I think like
It really
What
helps.
you already do.
I've worked with you a couple of times, Carson, like through clients, and it helps so much when they're working with someone that's helping with their branding.
Right.
Because on a typical branding photo shoot, clients don't really know. They think
they
that
don't.
headshots are just branding, and they want like a mini session for $150 or whatever. And you're like, no, trust me,
don't need that.
more.
Yeah.
So I feel like it just helps us as photographers to have clients that are working with someone that's doing their branding, because then they sort of get that from both sides and they have some guidance as to what looks good. Because it's not our job to like go
convince
through
them.
and tell them what to wear and
Yeah.
what looks good. So
That's so true.
Yeah.
And I feel like both of our jobs are a lot about like educating people on what's happening behind the scenes and what's important. And they'll see something that they like some website that we've already done. They're like, oh, this is amazing. How did this come to life? And I was like, well, these are all the things that they did to get to that point. And they're like, what? Really? You're like, yes. So you need the photo shoot. You need the full, you don't get the refresh. You need the full rebrand. You need the website.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah. That's a good point.
No one truly knows what actually goes into it until you like explain it to them. Because even like in our work, like sometimes people will be like, oh, I just want this photo. It's all over Pinterest. And we're like, no.
Yeah. Or it's like,
that's out.
That's out.
Or it's like a flash style that you're like, we don't do that. I'm a natural light photographer. Why are you sending
It's
this to
sunny
me?
and we're in a white studio. We can't do that.
We just have to remind ourselves our clients usually are just, they don't know.
That's it. And it's like, I almost feel like, guys, I'm going to turn around on us and blame us. Like we should be the ones talking about it and educating them on what's going on. I feel like because we live in it, we're so inundated by it every day. It's second nature. Like I forget what I know. I feel like you guys would be the same.
Yeah.
That you're like, how do I tell this to people? And this is also something we try to solve for our clients too, where it's like, they're so in their work of what they do. And we're like, we can see it so clearly. And we're like, great, this is how you need to communicate it to your
This
peeps.
is how you look cool.
This is how you
Yeah.
look cool doing it. Like, but you need a lot of things.
Well, even just allowing for half day or full day where you. Can I keep going?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. It's like, are we getting kicked out already?
We talk too much.
I do like behind the scenes stuff, but you have to allow time for like the moments of like magic that happen with a photographer and a creative director that you can't plan for.
Yeah.
Like you just have to budget that time in, and that's
I
like
didn't tell him to say that.
no.
We're making
I
this
said
into
that
a
all
reel.
on my own.
That was beautiful.
And I've seen it every photo shoot. Like even the one like our photos are yours on our website, and just like the little sort of like moments that were in between were what worked the best, and it shows.
That's so true.
We
So
preach
budget
that
for
a
that,
lot.
people.
Like
Yeah.
you can't get magic in 20 minutes. It's just not going to happen.
And you can plan and everything, but the best ideas come from
Yeah.
the like your imagination coming on like to life as you see something happening, right? So
That's actually a good point because I had, we were planning a photo shoot recently for a client and you could see them getting like a little nervous, and there's always like a part of like hand holding through a lot of these processes. It is an investment, so we totally understand, but we're like, we need to leave room for the magic. And we forget to like also say that because we're so in it. We're like, okay, this might not be perfectly planned here because we'll see what works in the space. We'll see what the light is like that day. I haven't been in there. So then we have to be able to pivot really quickly. I feel like I yell pivot at every photo shoot all the time. Ross, Ross Muller, pivoting! Like, okay.
that's awesome.
Okay, what are some things that make you cringe when it comes to like websites or branding?
Oh God.
Like when you see it and you're like,
I-
they need a rebrand.
Yeah.
It's not so much that, but just because I spend so much time on Instagram, I really hate broken up posts for like a launch or for like separation unless it's done well.
The 6 tile takeover.
But if I like see like
I'm not
gets
into that.
divided up.
yeah, if I see that, I go out of my way to not like it or engage with it. And
You
that's just
unfollow them immediately.
yeah, I follow them
But
immediately.
I also like when you see them individually, like you do, like of course you're not going to engage or like that individual post. It's really just a feed, like
Yeah.
Totally. It's like serves a purpose, but I just I don't like it. I used to think it was kind of cool when people used to use the page to explore different ways to do bigger images and stuff like that, but when the first thought is okay, we have to separate our page through like a hard divide, I'm not into it anymore. I'm jaded. I'm old.
We support that.
Okay.
I love an
That's
archive. I love archiving everything and then starting fresh.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
always I'm like, just if you're starting something new, do it new, you know? Also there's mystery to that, but that's definitely that's a cringe one for sure.
I'm gonna shoot myself in the foot for saying that.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay.
We've done
How
it for
many
a few
people right
clients in the
now are
past.
checking
they're
to see if you
raging.
still follow them?
but just as
Giddy Up
like
lost one follower. We now have 190.
We could post post one day. Maybe we'll do a grid.
Some things were working in the past. Some now they don't, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's how it goes.
Cringe would be, mine are like not so specific, but I feel like my big cringe thing is when it's like an incohesive brand and you're like watching it from like different platforms, and like also little design things where it's like text isn't aligned properly on one thing, the header isn't big enough, the subheader is like too tight, you need more tracking in it. Like these are all the things that I end up seeing that I can't unsee. It's a bit of a curse and a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, there's a lot happening here. Cringe things are like, you can tell when it's an old website. When you go to the website and you're like, guys, come on, Squarespace is right there. You can make something really sexy on Squarespace so easily.
Yeah.
Even without all the custom coding that we usually do on our clients' websites. Like it's just, yeah, I think there's a lot of options. So what I mean by the cohesive side of things mainly is like the color palettes don't match, or the branding is like a little bit different. There's just like, you feel like you're a whole different company.
Any other cringes you have?
I just need a logo.
Yeah.
It sends me into a spiral.
Yeah.
A brand is a personality, okay? Just a logo, and this is a weird analogy, but I'm going for it. Just a logo is basically showing up to a party butt naked with a really cool hat on. You're like, what else is happening? I know. Yes, it's a look, right?
I'm a logo. No.
I'm a logo. But it's like, that's great, but you can't rely on that hat forever. Like, what else do you have to yourself? You know, it's thinking about it from a fashion perspective too. Like, what's the style? You know, you need multiple elements. So what's your sub logos? What's your full color palette? What are your branded typefaces? How do you communicate? So I feel like that's something where they're like, it's just a logo and I can just go to Fiverr to get it. And I'm like, have fun.
I think that was kind of a thing. I'm speaking from like the photography perspective, but I think that was kind of a thing when a lot of photographers started. When they created their website, they just got that logo and that's it. And we still see some of those sites floating around, but it seems like logos aren't like, you don't see logos as much. It's more like font and whatever, as opposed to like a camera with flowers around it.
Oh my God, so good. Also, that's cringe.
Yes, that's a cringe.
That's out. Yeah, that's out. That's so true. And in our like pitch decks, when we're presenting the design, I talk about the typefaces as giving a personality, because there is personality behind fonts. You know, you get a more professional feel from something with a serif font, as opposed to if you get a really like bold in your face with a sans serif, like wide type. And you go through and all the different types speak to each other to create that language. So when you go to a page, you're feeling something because of those fonts. This is that fun psychological mind play that we do as designers. And I feel like that people often are like, oh, it's just a font, I'll just throw it up there. But I think that there's so many sites that you go to and you're like, I don't know why I love this so much, but I love it. And it's probably that. It's the marriage of everything together, because it isn't so linear anymore, right? It's all those elements. So
I think you can really tell too who hired someone and who DIY'd it, because it just looks so much better, so much cleaner. Like you said, you don't really know why, but it just looks professional. Like it's so worth that investment to get a clean website.
I mean, we obviously agree.
Honestly, Kate, like hire experts. That's the best thing to do.
We do it too. Like for things that we can't do ourselves, we're going to trust experts for sure. Like that's not my forte. Why would I do that? But it's true. Like the DIY ones you can see, there's some entrepreneurs that I have to give credit to that are like usually in the creative industry too, and you're like, wow, you crushed that, like good job. But then there's others where you're like, what is your personality? Like what's happening here? I think with the photographer note is like your imagery speaks so much for your style that I think a lot of photographers can get away with that, because your imagery is just so expressive that they're like, I don't need anything else. And it's like, you don't, but like what's the reason they're hiring you over someone else besides your imagery? If they love two people, they're going to pick the person that they connect with the most, and that's probably through subconscious design.
So true. Well, not to give away things that people should hire you to do, but what are some quick things that everyone should go and like look at on their website or adjust after listening to this?
Okay, my biggest
Some
one.
quick tips.
I know.
You're like nothing.
No, it's just hard.
Everyone needs a rebrand.
It's hard. I almost would maybe go with the version of like simplify it. If you're doing it yourself, don't overcomplicate it. You don't like the full suite is obviously the dream, but if you can't do that, just making sure that your customer journey is the biggest part of your website and like flowing through, making sure that you're talking about the problem you're solving for your client, right? What is that right off the bat? You know, everybody's going to say, and I'm sorry, I'm picking on photographers, but it's like Calgary's #1 wedding photographer. Like everyone's going to say that. What are you doing that's different? And how can you embody your personality? So making sure that that's there. Oh God, I wanted to give so many. Optimize your imagery. Please like rename them.
That was mine.
Oh, sorry.
okay.
You can go to it.
No.
You can talk to it. Okay.
I don't want to anymore.
We've seen like we had I recently audited a site and they were just asking why their SEO wasn't performing, and we were looking at it and we're like, oh, none of the images are named. It's like iStock 7, 8, 12, 94, and I'm like
String of characters. Yeah.
string of characters. And so that part is like this such a simple thing to just get your website to look great. But I think just think about the customer journey. Like if you're going on that website, it's hard to think.
Look at it on your phone.
Yes, please look at it on your phone. Thank you. That's a big one. You have anything else?
I would say just optimize the site to communicate with Google.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's free and simple. And all you want to do is make sure your site is, it's really simple. It is.
I put air quotes up because I was like, I tried to do it.
You can do everything through like Google Admin Console, but you just want to make sure it's site mapped. So it's telling Google how many pages there are, how they can index it. It takes 2 minutes and Google does it for you. It takes 48 hours.
Squarespace syncs that.
A lot of people who are struggling with like SEO, that's the first step that we tell them to do. And it's free. And even like as creatives too, like we're all in very competitive SEO zones. So to do that, you get a bit of an upper hand, or you're at least competitive with everybody else. But until you do that, you're kind of hoping that you get ranked on Google, or you might be seen. What else? I think that's.
I'm immediately doing that. After.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's hard with your photos
Follow
too.
the link in the
you guys
description
just
for
need to
walkthrough.
be able to- That's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
But
No, it's honestly, I'm not even downplaying it. It's really, really simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hot tip.
Hot
hot
tip.
tip. It's like a standard
And
practice
if
for
it's
us
not
when we're
simple,
launching a
you
website.
have to hire Kit.
And if it's not, we also do that.
Kit's not tooting his horn.
If you're brick and mortar service, make sure you have Google My Business set up. So you have a PIN. That's
Right.
really important. And I think that's all I can think of. My tips are so boring. My tips aren't as cool.
No, your tips are way like mine are visual based.
They're not
tips.
as flashy, but
They're not
But
flashy.
they're like that's
They're
what you need.
important. Yeah.
For us, it's like again standard practice for what we do for our clients' website. So
If you do have a site that's older, do an audit of it. Shut down and remove any plugins that aren't.
oh my god,
even if-
WordPress plugins.
Even if they're not, even
Cringe.
if they're turned off, they can potentially slow down your site speed. So delete those as soon as you can.
can people hire you guys just to do an audit? Or is that
Yes.
part of what you
Yes.
offer in like a full package?
I love auditing things.
Okay.
It's really fun to like look through and be like, this is why it's not working. It's
Yeah.
problem solving. You're solving a
anyone
puzzle.
ever cry after you?
No, I think we disappoint some people. Yeah, I think we do disappoint some people.
Not
but
cry, but
we have solutions. The thing is
Yeah.
we're not going to them and just telling them that here's your
Your
problem.
site
See you later. Like, yeah.
we've had one person that basically got taken advantage of by another agency, and it was just
We'll link that agency in the.
we will,
That was painful.
and we just felt so bad for them that we did everything we could to audit, remove, streamline, get them to a place that their site actually functioned.
Within their budget because they already spent what $40,000 on a website.
It was wild, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was honestly, that's a huge motivator for why we started our agency too, is because
Yeah.
there's so many out there that just take advantage and they also don't hand over their tools to anybody after, which drives me crazy because it's like, as an entrepreneur, you want to be able to change one simple thing on your website without having to go and pay for an hourly developer. Like we're never
Yeah.
going to try to like hold all of your assets. We're going to give you all the working files, the vector files.
gatekeeping.
There's no gatekeeping. bookkeeping here. It's like, it's your business. Why would we don't want to be in charge of it? It's yours.
Yeah.
We're just helping you get like fully set up.
You also don't want those emails saying, hi, can you just change this little thing?
We still get them.
Yeah, we do.
We still get them.
When you have such a good relationship too, like they're gonna come back to you for things, right? And you just prove yourself in that, like working with someone, right? Whereas if you were to hold away, like hold things back, it's like, why, like you almost want to pull away from those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of that client experience. Again.
Yeah, that's just it. And like that client, we didn't do any design changes because we're like, the front of this looks beautiful. It's the back that's the problem. So then it was fixing that for them and like being like, we know what works, so why change it if it's broken?
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you guys ever had like a client, no names or anything? Have you ever open to sharing like a crazy client story? Maybe even just like someone who's been so like wish-washy of like actually what they want or like anything crazy that happened?
I think there's.
Oh, she knows right away. I was like,
It was more
too.
well, it was more for my freelance days. We've been really lucky with the clients that we've had. There are moments where like you can see them being like, oh, this change is a little scary. And I think that's going to happen with anybody. And we're 100% there to talk it through. The more I get to talk about typefaces and why this aligns with who they are, the better, right? So I appreciate being able to do that. But I learned a lot in my freelancing days. I did have this one client. It was a pizza place in North Van, and he came for a pizza box design. And I was just way too excited about the idea that I did not ask enough questions about what he was actually looking for. And what he was looking for was like his logo that he had already made that was not great on the box. And then like all this other information on the side that you could like check box which one it is. If that makes sense, like it's a pepperoni, it's got extra cheese or something like that. So he just needed like a really simple design, and I went all out.
I think I remember. I'm like picturing it in my mind. Yes.
With the running pizza slice? Yeah. So I went like all out, did the coolest design, and then like in my mind I was changing the entire store. I was like, this is why we do big picture now.
You're
because
creating
I'm like,
new
I can't-
recipes.
Yeah.
I just bought into the business. I'm a partial owner now.
I'm a partial owner now. Like I can't stop myself, and this is again why I love full brand things. But it actually worked out. So I made him the box he actually wanted, obviously, and like got on a call with him. I was like, oh, I missed the mark on this one. That was on me.
So my running pizza cartoon man isn't what you were looking
not what you're looking for. This pink and red is not your black and white brand colors. And I was like, thought he was just looking for more, and that's on me for not. But I ended up posting on Instagram, and this girl who works at Merci Boulangerie in Vancouver, she came to me and was like, this is amazing. Can I have this? And I was like, yes, because I haven't used this design on anything. And so instead of pizza, we turned it into a dancing croissant.
Amazing.
And she's using it. She now has a storefront. She just reached out and she's like, hey, can I get like a few vector files? I was like, yes. And so now it's like all across her storefront, and then like on her print material, t-shirts, we did a bunch of stuff. And I was
That's
like, worth
amazing.
it. Croissant was way better anyways. I was like, I had a little beret on one of them at one point. We removed the beret. It was too much, but I was like, just
I'm
in
glad
case.
it's out there in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
made it.
It made it. But other than that, it was just like me not reading the room more than anything.
It's hard when you're creative.
Yeah, I just get too excited.
Should we play our game?
Ooh.
Is there any?
gosh.
Do you have any other
Well,
burning questions?
No, I think honestly, we touched on all of them.
Yeah.
So, let's play our game.
So we have this little game, guys, called I Do or Boo. It's kind of like hot or not.
Got it.
Love it.
So we'll just tell you some things, and you can tell us what you think.
Okay.
I Do or Boo. People, photographers, I guess specifically, but in general, people listing their pricing on their website.
Oh, this is a tough one.
I do. Can I say, is it, I do the right one?
I do is the right one.
Yeah.
There's no right. Whatever.
I have a weird thing with like agency life being shrouded in secrecy, and I'm sure it's photographers as well. I pitched to Carson that we just go for it and put our prices on our site, and whoever comes our way will. And we ran it by a few people as well, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And so I think it's an I do. Like I think it's like a very
Kit really wants to do this.
breaking the mold,
Yeah.
bold move,
Yeah.
and I respect it.
Yeah.
And it removes the secrecy aspect, and I think it helps raise everybody else in the end.
So I'm
But I get it. I get
boo.
it. Yeah.
My reasoning for being a boo is that I think you you can change on the fence people in any industry.
Yeah.
So what I think is a good medium is like in your form having a budget outline. So if they're under a budget, then you know you can't meet ever with any of your packages, then you just are like, thanks so much, and you give them different options for other people they can go to. If they're just a little bit below, you're still going to meet with them, see what you can do, and talk to them, because again, it's our job to educate what we do, and people don't realize, one, they might not have any idea what the costs actually are associated with the industry, and if they might bypass your site, go to all these other ones that fill out the form, and then get swooned, for lack of a better word, by those other people because they didn't end up getting that chance to even meet you. So my thing is always boo. But I understand like the secrecy behind pricing, because everyone's just so scared to say how much they cost.
I think it
and
raises the
charge.
floor though. Like, I think it's worth a test in a way.
I don't have it on mine, but I do kind of like resonate with what you're saying, Kit. Like it also probably like prevents a lot of time wastage.
So that's,
Some people
you do
they
need to
way out
weed
of their
them out.
budget. They just don't even.
Yeah, you're not what they're looking
sending
for.
like 5 emails back and forth and then deciding.
Like I get it. Coming from like the enterprise world where you're dealing with like $500,000 contracts and there's a full sales team dedicated to it and you have wiggle room to like move your prices up and down and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But with us, we're kind of all in it together, and it's like our living, it's our source of income, and it's, if you can't meet that, then it's just not a fit.
Yeah.
And we're not
That's kind of the way
boosting
I
our
look at it.
prices just to match the industry either. Like we're doing it based off of a very strategic thing that Kit built, obviously not me.
What we're
Shout out Notion.
Shout out to Notion.
Hashtag Notion.
That like it tracks our hours, our contractors' hours, how much time we spend on it, calls, and we do package rates so that people feel comfortable knowing that they can email us and they're not like, was that $150 or $300? Like how much did that cost me? So I think that, something that we do in emails when people come to us is we do minimum level investment. So we tell them what the minimal level is for investment. And then if they do want to stay, they stay. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah. So even listing maybe like packages starting at whatever.
I love a good starting at.
Meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
That would be a good compromise.
Yeah.
I like it.
I will say I have mine listed and I
Ooh.
still get emails asking what my packages are. And I'm like, they are right there. Oh, but maybe that just means I need a new website.
You can lead a horse to water, right?
I just couldn't find it.
I just couldn't find it.
right there. under investment.
Okay.
That was a good one.
I already know what you're going to say about this, but I kind of just want to hear it. Handwriting font.
I love the expression.
This is so difficult.
There's a lot of photographers that have handwriting font on their website. I was
do.
guilty of that. Oh, okay.
But it has to be a very particular handwriting font. So
I didn't
it's
think
Readable.
I know. So normally
true.
cursive logos. No, I know exactly. We're all thinking of that cursive logo. That's a straight up boo. But handwritten fonts, incorporating the human touch into a digital space is actually great. But we try to do more like actual handwriting, not cursive. Like, what was that? Print? What is it? I don't know. Your handprint.
Handwriting?
No, but isn't cursive like its own? Isn't that what handwriting is? And it's your print that's not your.
I have no idea what you're saying,
see?
but sure.
Yeah.
They know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fine.
Actually, I think Becky has some that she, like, it's actually her writing incorporated into some of her branding, and it always looks so cool.
And I think that's
It
great.
really is her writing.
And it's like a sign off, right?
Yeah.
It's a human touch. I think it's great. I love a good like kind of rougher one. And we just did this rougher handwriting for a bagel company because we wanted it to look like old chits when somebody orders food and they write it on in a diner.
Yeah.
So we did it on like a thick Sharpie kind of style, like all caps. It looks really good. So that's where I feel like it lives.
So it has to be intentional.
Intentional, yes.
Okay.
Kit, do you have any feelings on this?
I would just say I do. I don't know. If it suits the brand, then go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you have nice handwriting.
Be legible.
Wedding websites. Do you guys have one?
I do. KitandCarson.com.
We're looking at it. We'll take it below.
Yeah.
I do.
I don't know what's there, but it's there.
Yeah. I wanted to make our own, obviously, but we'd have to build a custom RSVP, and like We just need to pick where we spend our time, and I don't think that's that.
That would have sent you into a large spiral.
Yeah. I'm like, can we sell this after though? But with Joy, we're just putting our custom domain to a with Joy, and then I'm going to try to go in and CSS as much as possible on there. But it's just so much easier to have information. Am I doing an elaborate printed invite as well? Absolutely. Is it multiple pieces of paper and folded like origami? Yes.
Yay.
Thank you.
I'm not surprised by this in any way.
No,
Me either.
nobody is.
So it's an idea.
It's an idea.
Okay, another kind of photography specific, but I guess there's maybe other businesses as well. But your name, or like your first name and your middle name, is your company name.
I'm going to let you answer.
I've never thought about that.
I feel like yours is just your last name.
Instead of Mint, it would be Lisa.
Dawn Photography, which makes me like nauseous, to be honest.
So this is interesting because it goes
I
into
don't
your...
find that bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
You have a
I'm
nice
triggered.
name. You have a nice name.
Lisa Dawn, you're triggered. This goes into your vision for the future. So it comes into longevity. The reason I moved away from Creative Carson, which is still like my Instagram handle and my
that's
freelance
just
thing.
genius.
Thank you. Alliteration is always a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be me that was the business. I wanted it to feel like we could build more of a culture around something. And if it's your name, you're kind of creating this like pedestal person, right? It works for some. I think of like the best examples like Jillian Harris. That works for her because it's her, but she's also built a team. She talks about her team so that they have space as well. Photographers, if they're just a photographer, like it's just yourself, you're not going to grow like an agency of photographers, then I feel like it works. So it really just matters about the vision. I'm really not giving straight point answers here. But
It's very hard to do.
there's too much strategy behind this. But I really
So
want
is
to.
There's no right
I
answer.
do or
It's
boo?
it's an I do if it aligns with who you are and your goals in business. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, what she said. I'll take it.
Okay, the last one, Canva. So, but let's say Canva with just like an unexperienced user.
This is me. Oh, this was me. I do.
People will create anything in Canva and then they'll release it to the world.
We use Canva. So we use Canva for our proposal templates, for our reporting templates. They're really easy for our team to use. It's a fantastic shared platform. So all the designs are easily shared within it. For like proper design in our process of like building all the assets, it's Illustrator 100%. Like you can't make custom graphics or vectors in Canva, but we love it. The issue is...
Your answers are so serious.
I know, sorry. The issue is that mainly like...
It's like lightning round.
People, I know, I'm not doing it. I told you it's too nuanced. People trying to translate a template, it will, unless you know what you're doing, it will always go wrong. And I've watched it go wrong. So we try to, like, if we ever did do templates, we try to avoid templates as much as possible. But when we do them, we try to make them foolproof. So like locking certain things so that you don't get it where like the 3 bodies of text that are, again, supposed to be in line are like, and you're like, how did those move? What did you do? When did you touch those? Like,
Oh yeah.
what's going on?
We'll figure out how to mess it up.
Yeah.
somehow.
But like most people, like Canva's so great for entrepreneurs. You need it. You need it for like a presentation template. We make them all the time because they are so versatile. And I feel like it's not going anywhere. I also love that it's a woman-owned company. So,
I didn't know that.
And did she sell it recently?
I don't think so. But it's worth over a bill for sure.
It's like, she owns
Yeah.
them. And she was like 24 or something when she did this.
Amazing.
But even for me, if I have to take on some design work, I just use the brand guidelines and I'm set. And I can build it in Canva.
Well, guys, I think that's it. I feel like we covered so many topics.
So many
Actually,
topics.
there were so many takeaways that I'm going to do
Yay!
immediately. I think a lot of people
Same.
do.
This was so informative, and you guys are just an amazing duo. Like,
Thanks.
wonderful to meet you and talk with you. I'll be
You too.
talking
so
with
easy.
you soon about my website.
We'll be circling back for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
We're
thanks.
so happy you're
Thank
here.
you for having us. This was so
Thanks
much
for
fun.
having us. Do we say goodbye in the fun way now, Kit?
No, absolutely not, Carson. This is where I have to reel her in.
I really wanted to do the wrap around. I'll do it.
Yeah, you two do it. There it is.
Thank you so much for listening and following along. It would mean the world to us if you could subscribe and leave a rating and a review. 5 stars only.
We come out with new episodes every second Thursday. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at the NFF Podcast and on YouTube at No Fucking Filter Podcast.
We would love to hear from you if you have any episode ideas or any crazy stories to tell.
We are always accepting new sponsorships, or if you'd like to be featured on the podcast, feel free to reach out. Bye.